Hi guys, it's Mooty here, and it's been a while since I did a live recording, so I guess that'll be fun. It's really late, so if I'm actually really weird and tired seeming or anything like that, then I apologize. Today I'm also wearing a Pokemon shirt. It has Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, and then there's Pikachu, but no one cares about Pikachu. I'm also wearing My Little Pony PJs. These are actually dude PJs, so... By the way, the person I'm battling, I've battled him before in Low Cup. His name is CrobatFTW, so he did a huge favor by battling me today because I couldn't find an Ubers battle on Twitter. And I was really in the mood for Ubers because this team that I have for Ubers is just, I'm proud of it because I've been laddering with it and it's doing well. And the second I change one thing up, it just falls out of sync. So, I mean, I think it's good. So, I need to take a screenshot of this before I forget. Okay, good enough. Alright, so potential leads could be Crobat to U-turn out or Ferrothorn to set up rocks. Now, problems on my team usually Arceus is a problem, especially if it gets up a Swords Dance. If it's the normal type, if it's any other type, it's usually not a problem. He's got Palkia or Palkia, whatever, so I really can't go for too many water spouts with that 4 times water resistance. Genesect could also be a possible lead because they U-turn, and then there's Giratina, which is just physically bulky. So, the thing is, though, I guess apart from Genesect, he doesn't have much to hit my Xerneas with, so if I could get a potential late game Xerneas sweep, that'd be nice. But I think best option regardless for me is to lead off with my Landorus, and then if I am running out of time, confirm. And then if he leads off with something like Palkia, which I really don't think he will, then I guess I can switch out. But I really don't think he's going to lead with that. That's like the last thing I imagine he'd lead off with. And if he leads off with Genesect, then he's either going to U-turn or, I guess, Ice Beam. If he Ice Beams, then I'm fine. I'm fine with going into, like, Dialga. If that's the case, so he leads off with the Crobat. I know what, the other thing Crobat can do is, what do you call it, U-turn. Then they also have Super Fang, so that's also a potential thing. Now, because it might carry Defog, that's a potential thing too, so I don't know if I want to set up Stealth Rocks, but seeing this thing in Ubers isn't exactly the norm, I'll tell you that much. So, I think, but he can also taunt. I'm pretty sure they can also taunt. I'm going for the Stone Edge just to be safe. They can also, okay, so he's just going to U-turn. I'm pretty sure they can also taunt, so that's why I was kind of wary of it, but he ends up U-turning out, which basically tells me he's probably choiced, I imagine. That's usually why most things carry U-turn if they're choiced. Except for my Landorus. My Landorus is not choiced, but it carries U-turn just to have scouting. But most people tend to think it might be choiced because I carry Lumberry on it and nothing else. So, going for the Stone Edge is fine. Now, here he's going to set up a lot of entry hazards, potentially a lot of entry hazards, so I'm not going to appreciate. So I think since he's going to set up hazards, I might as well set up hazards as well. So we're just going for the Stealth Rock here because otherwise this thing doesn't really threaten me out. And it's a good good opportunity to set up Stealth Rocks because, I mean, he's got a Crobat. Unless he's carrying Defog, it's still going to take a nice chunk of damage, and if he decides to do a lot of switching, it'll take a nice chunk of damage. The only thing that I really don't want right now is Leech Seed Stall, potential Leech Seed Stall, and Spikes. I don't like Spikes at all, so that's also another thing. So he goes for the Stealth Rock, and then here I could just basically U-turn out. And, like, if I have U-turn and outspeed, there's no point in me to just switch, but whatever. U-turn, that's what we're doing. We're just doing the U-turn. I don't know why I'm trying to explain why I'm using U-turn, because U-turn is U-turn. And then here, if he ends up having Spikes, I'm not going to like it because I don't have a defogger for that, and I have, like, Kyogre takes a bunch from Spikes. I mean, actually, a lot of my Pokemon would take a lot from Spikes if he happens to carry it, so, well, the only thing I have for fire is Dialga right now. I mean, it's not too bad. but it's not the best thing in the world either. But I'm gonna go into Dialga. So, I guess it's alright. It's not the best thing in the world. Fire Blast is fairly obvious. The accuracy on that is also pretty bad. But if I do go for... The thing is, if I do go for the Fire Blast, he's probably going to Protect here. If he has Protect, he's going to Protect to see what I'm going to do. And then switch accordingly. So, I don't think there's really a point in me going for the Fire Blast because he's going to Protect. Or I could stay in another turn and get back, lose some more whatever Leech Seed health. But, I don't know. I don't know. I could just be safe right now and just go for the Flash Cannon. Although Steel is probably the worst typing I can have against this team right now. But I really think in the end he's just going to end up Protecting, so I'm just going for the Flash Cannon. No, he withdraws. Alright. That's, I guess, alright. He goes into the Giratina. So that's not too bad because I do get a stab on my Flash Cannon. And these things are usually more physically defensive than especially defensive. So I might do a good amount. It's not the worst thing in the world. But I think that Draco Meteor might kill because Giratina usually just carries Will-O-Wisp. Some are Resto, Chesto, or Rest, Sleep Talk, Dragon Tail, and insert filler move here that I can't remember. So straight up, I'm just going for the Draco Meteor here. Draco, I'm pretty sure would kill from this range. Unless he has something like Protect to, I guess, stall me out more of Leech Seed. So if I could do a good amount of damage, that would be fantastic because Leech Seed is almost bringing me down to half, so he burns me. Basically residual damage. I don't mind if I get to take this thing out, then I don't mind. So Draco Meteor, okay, you hit, so now we'll see how much damage it does, which is the determining factor of whether this is paid off. Almost. I don't outspeed, sadly, and if he, okay, well, he's not, what do you call it, Chesto, so he might be Sleep Talk, that is a possibility, he might be Sleep Talk. Either way, I don't want to stay in and take, I'm already down to half just based on residual damage, and this is my only fire type attacker, so if he has Rest, I'm really not going to enjoy it at all. If he has Rest, I'm going to hate it. So I think I'm going to go into Xerneas because he's going to have a Dragon type attack. I know that much. If anything, if he has Dragon Tail, though, he wouldn't go for it now, knowing he would die to practically anything. If anything, he would go for a Rest if he has Rest and Sleep Talk, which I think is the standard set. So, Xerneas right now is fine. I'll take some Stealth Rock damage, but as long as he rests or switches out, then, I mean, I'm pretty alright. So he goes for Rest. Okay. Either way, he's not going to want to stay in on a Moonblast. Not much. Well, I don't want to say not much on his team wants to take a Moonblast because there are things that are just, like, whatever towards Moonblast, but, like, Xerneas could really help me out. There's no reason for him to stay in. Absolutely no reason at all. That's the thing. So, it comes down to what I think I should switch in here. I can't go for a Geomancy because he's got a Genesect. I don't have Hidden Power Fire on this, so that doesn't help. And he's also got a Ferrothorn. If I had Hidden Power Fire on this, that would help a ton, but I do not. So, I think either Genesect or the Ferrothorn is coming back out. If I had to take a guess, it's one of those two. And I think the Genesect would pose more of an offensive threat, so that's probably the one that's coming out, and that's the one thing I don't really have much for right now. I could go into my Landorus right now and predict the Genesect, get an Intimidate off, and hopefully lure him into maybe an Ice Beam or something like that, but Dialga is my only fire type Pokemon right now. So, I'm going into Dialga, actually. Just straight up into Dialga. If he goes into the Genesect. I guess that's the best case scenario. If he goes into Ferrothorn, also best case scenario. I'm still taking residual burn damage, which is gonna suck, but there's not much I can do about that. And if he decides to stay in, I just hope he doesn't, yeah, he doesn't stay in. Okay, there's absolutely no reason for him to stay in. And he goes into the Crobat, which is going to take some Stealth Rock damage. And I don't really think Crobat can do much to me, but I could be wrong. I'm at low health. I'm at low health, so it's really, really, really going to suck, but I'm probably gonna end up losing this thing at this rate. And my phone with Team Preview ended up dying. Hey, my phone, alright, I don't have Team Preview anymore because my phone died, but I'm just going for Draco. He doesn't have any fairy types, I'm just going for Draco. So he U-turns out, whatever, I mean, maybe Ferrothorn is gonna come in. Maybe. But if Ferrothorn comes in, then I'm okay with that. If Genesect comes in, that's most likely going to kill me. So, both of those resist the... Alright, Genesect. That's the one I didn't want to see, but that's just... He's gonna kill me with whatever. Assuming Draco hits, it'll do, like, not that much damage. It'll do decent amounts of damage, I guess. Wow! That was a crit, and that did a lot, and it left him with, like, 1 hit point. Wow. At this point, I don't feel bad for losing Genesect, so... That's my phone. What are you doing? Why? Okay. I don't care enough about Team Preview. At this point, he's gonna kill me, so whatever. We're just going for the Flash Cannon. Just because... I guess in case, if for whatever reason he goes for something and it misses, it's gonna kill him, or if he for some reason switches out. But yeah, Ice Beam should kill me at this point. It's gonna kill me. I'm like, I'm at 19 hit points, there's no way I'm living that. Yeah, there's no way I'm living that. So, Genesect, you can die to my Priority Bullet Punch. That's the best thing I could do, Priority Bullet Punch right now. And, there's no point in him switching because he can't get rid of the Stealth Rocks, and he also can't get rid of, well, I mean, he might be able to get rid of Stealth Rocks if he has, like, a defensive Arceus with Defog, but, yeah, there's really, he's just probably gonna sack it off, but it's okay because that's one less thing that would get in the way of Xerneas sweeping. If I get rid of this thing, and then I get rid of the Ferrothorn, then I'm in a very good spot to actually sweep with Xerneas, I think, because I outspeed a lot of his team. So, like, this thing, if it's coming in, it's dying, and if it's staying in, it's dying, because it's got no priority. So, back to Team Preview. He switches out. So that must mean he carries Defog, or he's just... I don't know. I guess maybe he carries Defog, or he's just using it as fodder. I mean, using, Palkia as fodder. Genesect would get in the way. Crobat wouldn't really get in the way, because after Geomancy I had outspeed. Ferrothorn would get in the way, although I do have Focus Blast, but we all know Focus Blast accuracy. That actually did a lot to it. I'm surprised. For being resisted, that does a lot to it. But... So he's water and dragon. Part of me wants to say he's gonna go for the dragon type attack, predicting me to switch in. But at the same time, he knows I have Xerneas, so he's not gonna wanna go for a dragon type attack. If he goes for, I need to keep the Scizor. Priority Bullet Punch is good, but at the same time I don't want to go into Kyogre to take a water type attack, and I don't want to risk going into Xerneas to take a water type attack, and Garrus can't take a water type attack, so honestly Kyogre at this point is my only option, really. Nothing else on my team can take a water type attack after Dialga faints, and that's a huge problem for me. And Kyogre can't do much to this thing because he resists the thunder, and I avoid the attack! I feel bad, but He's 4 times resistant to my water attacks, and then he's 1 times resistant, no, he's neutral to thunder. I don't know why I was going to say resistant, but I have to go for thunder. He has no ground type, so I have to go for thunder. Even though he might kill me with something else, I have to go for the thunder. Because there's nothing I could switch in safely to a Hydro Pump at all that does... I get the Para. I hope I don't... I mean... Okay, he goes for the thunder too. I was going to say, if he gets Parahacks, I'm going to feel so bad because I know what that feels like. I'm not going to die. I'm going to be able to get a good amount of damage off on it. Now... Thunder. I have to thunder. I could predict the thunder and go into Landorus and outspeed, but that's way too risky in case he goes for like a Hydro Pump again. Or a Spatial Run. Kills me with Spatial Run, so that works out too. That's alright. It's alright. We lose our Scarfer, but we've got Priority Scizor to kind of make up for it, maybe. I know Scizor could kill this thing off right now. Paralyzed. Anything could kill this thing off right now. So, what is the best thing for me to... I am on low battery, so... Hold on. Yep. Good thing I have a charger nearby. So, anything could kill this thing with priority. It's just that... I think the best thing that I could bring in right now is Gengar. Because... Gengar will outspeed. And then I can Mega, so it'll give me the ability to trap. If he decides to switch out, which I really doubt he will at this point because he's paralyzed, into Genesect or something, or literally anything else. Because if he goes into like Ferrothorn, then he can't resist a Shadow Ball. I mean, I think Gengar's my best. Gengar's my best option right now to Mega. And after I Mega, then I have the ability to trap things, and all I need to do is trap that Ferrothorn and get it out of the way. And once that's out of the way, then we've got a pretty good, what do you call it, space to sweep with the Xerneas. And it's all a matter of getting the Ferrothorn out of the way and the Genesect out of the way. So as I thought, he's going to stay in, sack this thing off, because Kyogre is down, so he doesn't really need this thing much anymore. My Dialga is also down, so he doesn't really need this thing much anymore. So a Shadow Ball will kill it, but the good thing is that I was able to get my Mega out, and it just depends on what he's going to go into now. Probably anything to outspeed it, because obviously I'm not Scarfed, because I have a Mega Stone, so... Good thing is that since rocks are still up, Genesect would die. We've got Palkia out of the way. Giratina is asleep, so it doesn't want to come in, especially because Giratina is more physically bulky than specially bulky. So this is actually not the worst thing in the world. The best thing he can hope for right now is to get a Dragon Tail Sleep Talk. Assuming he has Dragon Tail, we already know that he has Rest, so he probably has Sleep Talk because he doesn't have Chesto. So assuming his only attack technically is Dragon Tail, I could bring Xerneas in, but I don't have the means to get rid of Ferrothorn. So as much as I want to keep this thing in, I don't at the same time, but Xerneas is my only special attacker and the best thing that I could bring in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into Xerneas on the off chance that he gets a Sleep Talk Dragon Tail, and that's going to be enough to scare him out into hopefully Ferrothorn or Genesect. Because a Moonblast, I believe, would just kill this thing straight up. But, yeah, he goes for the Dragon Tail. Looked out there. Now, he's not going to want to stay in because it's going to risk me setting up a Geomancy. As much as I know, I really don't think he's going to stay in to let me set up Geomancy. So at this point, I'm going to switch back out into my Gengar. If he goes into Genesect, Genesect's dead. If he goes into Ferrothorn, Ferrothorn is trapped. And I can at least try and get damage off on it, and it can't do much to me. So, hopefully I can accomplish that much, and he doesn't end up staying in. Hopefully. If he ends up staying in, then, I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world, but... Alright, good, he withdraws. Hopefully I've got one of these things out of the way. No, he goes into Crobat, which wasn't as expected, but not the best thing in the world. Not what I was expecting. So either he goes for an attack or he U-turns. Now I need Gengar. But since I know this guy's physical, I'm just going into Landorus. I feel like he's forced to U-turn, or he can just go for a Brave Bird or anything else. And since he's physical, I can just go into Landorus and get an Intimidate off and go from there, pretty much. The Stealth Rock damage is accumulating on pretty much my entire team, and I don't like it at all, especially on Xerneas. But yeah, with the Brave Bird, I should be able to take that pretty well. I guess it's alright. He gets some recoil damage, and if I can take him down to enough to where he's gonna die coming in, that's also a plus. So if he's choiced into Brave Bird, then I'm glad, because he's going to end up outspeeding me. No, he just withdraws. That's alright, because I went for the U-turn in case he withdrew or he decided to go for Brave Bird again. So he goes into Genesect as fodder. Genesect dies. I don't get to go for a U-turn, sadly, which actually doesn't help me in this scenario because I could have had a switch initiative, but U-turn fails, and then he can go into... Palkia is dead, so his only water type is gone, which I'm actually really happy about. I totally forgot that Palkia was his only water type, unless he has something with ice, which Genesect just died with the possibility of having Ice Beam. If Crobat comes back in, then it's no longer intimidated, but I don't think any of Crobat's attacks would be able to kill me from this range. I could be wrong, but I really don't think it will. Ferrothorn comes back out, and I really feel like it's just gonna leech seed me. And I almost just want to go for the Earthquake. No. What do I have for Pokemon? I almost just want to go for the Earthquake. Or I could go for the Scizor. If he decides to go for either of his stab attacks, I'll resist both of them. Scizor, honestly, the Ferrothorn is the only thing that's in my way from having potentially Scizor sweep and potentially Xerneas sweep. So I have a lot of threats still left. We're gonna keep it that way. We want to keep the threats alive. I don't care if Landorus dies. I really don't think I need Landorus for much. So I honestly kind of want an Earthquake just to see how much damage and what he's gonna go for. And then if it doesn't work out, then I could switch out or U-turn out. So that does a good amount of damage. He goes for the Leech Seed. If he's still Leech Protect, then that's not something I want to deal with. But the Earthquake really doesn't do him enough, especially after Leech Seed. And that's why if I go into my Scizor, even if he Leech Seeds me or tries to Leech Seed stall me, then I've got Roost. And there's no way you can outstall that, plus I'm 4 times resistant to grass and 2 times resistant to steel. We already know he's got the Leech Seed and the Stealth Rock. But I don't know what his other 2 attacks are. He has to carry Gyro Ball because fairies are a thing. I feel like he has to carry Gyro Ball. And he's lost Palkia, he's lost Genesect. I don't know what Arceus he has, and that scares me, honestly. I do not know what Arceus he has, and that scares me. So I really think I should just, I'm gonna go for Pursuit. I think he's gonna switch out. No? Alright. Never mind. I'm silly. That didn't do that much at all. And I got hit with Iron Barbs. I forgot Iron Barbs was a thing. And he just goes for Leech Seed again. Huh. We are at a very fun stalemate here. I think I'm better off switching at this point. I mean, I could Roost up easily. Honestly, at this point, I should probably just Roost up because the Leech Seed annoyances. We're going for Roost. I need to keep Scizor around. We're going for Roost. If anything, he might predict me to switch out. Or just predict me to be locked into Pursuit. I don't know. Honestly, the coverage I kept on this thing wasn't the best, but this thing has been around for a while. Unless Leech Seed is just the only thing that he can do at this point. And so here I have to go for the bullet punch. Not the bullet punch, I have to go for the Swords Dance. And even it's really not going to do a lot unless I get to +6, which is at that point it's like good game. So, but against a Ferrothorn cannot do much to me except for stall me out. And with Roost, he cannot stall me out. So I'm forced to just keep going for the whatchamacallit with the Sword Stance. And if he switches out into anything, his only chance I would want to say is Giratina to potentially his only chance is to go into Giratina to potentially put a burn on me. So I think this time he might switch. Because I got a Sword Stance. Yeah, you switch out. Okay, so we got some neutral damage off on it. That's not bad. It does about half. I take some, whatever. I take freaking Iron Barbs. I'll deal with it. So he goes back into the Giratina. I'm happy that, because as long as the Ferrothorn has some residual damage off on it, it's not too big of a problem. But I don't want to risk the Focus Blast missing. Focus Blast missing is the worst thing that could happen, so we don't want that at all. And the Leech Seed is annoying as well, and that's why I have to keep Scizor around, but I don't want to risk him getting the Will-O-Wisp off. So it's kind of a crappy situation, but I think I'm going to go into my Landorus. If he gets a Dragon Tail off, then I get an Intimidate off. If he gets Willow off, then I can get a Lumberry. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter that much. I kind of just want to make sure that if I get Xerneas in, I get him in safely without getting any residual damage and being able to scare him out. So he's on turn 2 with his Sleep Talk, so the next turn he would end up, I think I died to rocks at that point. The next turn he'd end up waking up, so going into Gengar. So now he can't switch out. So I am going to go for the, whatchamacallit, the Sludge Wave. Most damage output, and hopefully it does a, wait. You are part, hold on. I might have made a mistake. I totally thought Giratina was just, pure dragon. And I totally forgot that it was part ghost, and that is a big mistake on my part. Luckily, it didn't really affect me much because the Gengar is just still alive, and I'm like, okay. The Dragon Tailing is going to get really annoying, but I really don't want Scizor to end up getting burnt. I just need to get, because, because Landorus, I think, dies to the rocks this turn, we'll get an Intimidate off, and he can't Dragon Tail me, and I honestly, if I could run damage calcs right now, I would, to see if freaking Xerneas could knock out a, Ferrothorn. But I don't think at that range that it can, but I have to go into Xerneas to try and do it anyway. If I had damage calcs on me, then I would, you know what? Let's do it right now. I have 2 laptops, so I'm being really weird. Damage calc. Don't mind me, because this, honestly, I'm curious. Let's see, Xerneas, because I've never been up against Xerneas and if I'm running max special attack, which I am, versus a Ferrothorn, which is whatever the usage is, which I think it might be, if it's specially defensive. Well, if it's regularly defensive, Moonblast does 34. If it's specially defensive, then Moonblast will not do a lot at all. Especially defensive Ferrothorn is a thing. Moonblast would still KO. Possibly KO. Possibly. So, at this point, I'm just going for the Geomancy. I have to go for the Geomancy. If you go into the Ferrothorn, he'll take some... What is this? Arceus. Okay, Arceus is not the worst thing in the world. He can't kill me with an Extreme Speed. Unboosted Extreme Speed will not kill me unless he's... No, he's not Banded. You never say Banded. I have to. At this point, I just have to. I had to go for the Geomancy. And we can hope that I can kill everything from here on out. It doesn't make Xerneas completely useless if I don't end up killing it, but I'm at a good amount of health where I don't think that the Arceus can kill me, so he has to go for extreme speed here, but I don't think unboosted extreme speed is, unless Silk Scarf's extreme speed, I don't think it'll be able to kill. But then again, this isn't my Xerneas with HP investment. I think this Xerneas had speed investment, which is kind of stupid to EV train it that way, because after a Geomancy, in what world do you really need speed when you're already, like, I think he has 90 something base speed? You really don't need speed at +2, so he goes for the extreme speed. You don't kill, come on, you don't kill. Xerneas, you're bulky, you can live it, you can live it. Yeah, you live it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for living it. I was kind of scared because this is not EV'd in HP, and I've been meaning to change it, but I can't change it because that requires work and EV training, so that's not what we want. Bright side, we got rid of the Arceus, and I think Arceus was the biggest threat to my team. So Crobat, you come in, and if you're Scarfed, if you're Scarfed, then I just flat out outspeed you and kill you because I put max speed in this. That was before I had the idea to put in freaking, what do you call it, HP, because, like I said, honestly, when you're at like 90 something, I know you're not base 100, but you're like 90 something, you're pretty far up there. You're not like base 30. But you don't need speed at that point. So the Ferrothorn comes in, and it's under a half right now. I don't want to risk a Focus Blast because there is a chance if he has 252 special defense, and that's at level 100, so there is a chance that the Moonblast will kill. It's let me put myself at +2. What is the chance of that happening? Moonblast has a percent, actually. Do I want to risk the Focus Blast? I really don't want to risk the Focus Blast. I don't want to risk the Focus Blast. I don't. That's if he's calm, though. I'm going for the Moonblast. We'll see. I'm going with the Moonblast. If he's max freaking special defense, then yeah, he is. I had a feeling he was. I didn't want to risk the Focus Blast miss. I just didn't. I knew it was going to be close. I knew it was going to be down to freaking min-max damage. I knew it. I knew it too well. That's just what was going to end up happening. Luckily, we take him out with the Gengar. Gengar, you can take him out. Takes some Stealth Rock damage, but I get to take him out with the Shadow Ball. Should kill. Why do I run Focus Blast? Focus Blast is... I don't know why I still run you with your terrible, terrible accuracy. I really shouldn't run you. This game is actually really long, and I am, like, probably, it's gonna be like a half-hour game. I've been talking for a while, so I just do assume it's long. So this thing comes out. Now, I want to say that a Dragon Tail would kill me, and I can easily Destiny Bond, and I think a Dragon Tail would kill me at that point, so I'm gonna Destiny Bond. Destiny Bond, go for the Dragon Tail! Go for the Dragon Tail! If you go for the Will-O-Wisp, I'll be mad. Dragon Tail, you better kill. You better kill. Dragon Tail, please kill! This is the only time I want you to kill. Thank you! We get rid of this thing. So, bye. Bye. This bulky thing, because Scizor cannot take care of this thing. Scizor cannot. I know you can't. So, thank you! And I win! So I win by 1. It was a really close game, and I was very happy about doing it, and that was fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like Ubers things, then add me on Twitter because I've been looking for Ubers lately. Ubers, VGC, and Little Cup have been the 3 tiers I've been interested in lately. Sorry to all the people that like OU, but I just have to kind of try and get a team that I like. So, I love you guys very much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and bye!